Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Now, of course, there's only one place to start today, and that's the 2022 Grand National. And of course, Noble Yeats won that at 50 to 1. Quite a surprising victory there. Peter, fascinating race and one for the pundits.
Yeah, well, it was. It just shows how horses can come from nowhere to win an event like that. Most of the favourites were either pulled or withdrawn from the race partway through. They were pulled up, and it was a great story because the jockey, the winning jockey, is an amateur, and that's very rare in high level sport, which the Grand National is, of course. And it was his last race, and he's now retiring. So it does have a nice fairy tale ending to his career. It was owned by his father, the horse, and as you say, it won at 50 to 1. So,
yeah.
I mean, from a bookie's point of view, it was like even Stevens, I suppose, because there was lots of money on the race, but it was an outsider that won. But there was lots of people who were on each way bets. They would have benefited from that.
Well, Noble Yeats now riding off to the sunset after that victory. Well, we've got to touch up on the Premier League from last weekend. There were some brilliant results. Manchester City 2, Liverpool 2. Of course, that top of the table clash. Peter, not much has changed at the top of the table. There's still the 1 point difference, and it makes it a really fascinating end to the season now.
Well, it's looking like it's going to go to the wire.
Yeah.
So City maintain that difference as 1 point there. I thought City edged it in terms of the amount of chances they created and the play. But Liverpool were fairly dirty in the last 15 minutes. They were really hacking away at City. What I didn't like was all this friendliness at the end, shaking hands and that. I much preferred it when the days of United and Arsenal were going at each other. Not much of that going on. I was surprised they didn't swap shirts at the end, in the changing room.
Yeah.
It disappointed me that. We want more blood and thirst in our game. And they're doing it again on Saturday in the semi-final.
Yep.
So we don't want any of this friendliness. We want a proper game where they go at each other. I saw one quote about how they live in the same area. Well, that would be South Manchester, no doubt. And they're all friends, and the kids go to the same school and that. Not really the Vieira, Roy Keane situation, is it? The
pundits have billed it as the biggest rivalry for a long time. And like I said then, how can it be when they're embracing at the end? The media have been bigging them up in the lead up to the fixture. I don't like it either. No.
Well, City are going to this next game as favourites, the semi-final. But before that, we've got the Champions League. But going back to the title race, City have now gone to 4 to 11 to win. Of course, at Betfred, we're praying that they do so because Fred, the boss, has paid out 750,000, as we all know now, before Christmas on City winning the league. So Betfred have City 4 to 11 to go on and win it. Liverpool 2 to 1. There's arguments for both sides here. It maintains that Liverpool, the draw is good for Liverpool in that it keeps it going to the end of the season potentially, because 7 games to go and anything can happen in them 7 games. Liverpool have got the harder running by far. City, they've maintained the difference, the edge, if you like, 1 point, and they're 4 to 11 now to win the title.
Well, there you have it. If you fancy City to retain the title, they are now priced at 4 to 11 with Betfred. Or if you fancy Liverpool, even with a difficult run-in, to go and scoop the title, they are priced at 2 to 1. And as Peter said then, we've got some entertaining Champions League fixtures coming up this week. So we've got Atletico Madrid taking on Manchester City. Of course, City go into that second leg with a 1-0 victory. And of course, we've got Liverpool taking on Benfica. Liverpool have a 3-1 advantage. Peter, what are the odds looking like for these games?
Well, we've got City are favourites in Madrid against Atletico, although it's going to be a tough game, that, because Atletico were notorious for time wasting and all the tricks of the dark arts of the game, if you like. So City are 4 to 5 to go on and win it with Betfred, and that's in 90 minutes, of course. Atletico 7 to 2. We've got Mahrez, the favourite to score the first goal. He's 5 to 1. He almost snatched it at the weekend.
Yeah, he did. Hit the post, yeah.
Yeah. And Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne both informed players. They're both 6-1 to score the first goal. You mentioned Liverpool there. Well, they're still second favourites, but only just to win the Champions League outright.
Yeah.
They've got a much greater pedigree than City in the tournament. City've never won it, of course. But City are the favourites with Betfred to win the Champions League outright. They're 7-4. Liverpool 15-8. Bayern Munich, they're now 4-1. Real Madrid 6-1. Chelsea 20-1. Villarreal 33-1. Atletico 33-1. Benfica, the massive outsiders now, 500-1.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea have it all to do in that second leg, having been beaten 3-1 by Madrid in the first leg. But we're going to take a look now at the Premier League top four, because Manchester United's chances dwindling by the game. They are now priced at 20-1 with Betfred to finish in the top four this season. And Peter, what else can you say apart from another dreadful performance against relegation-threatened Everton?
Well, I think dreadful is a fair description. They were very, very poor. They're playing like individuals. They're playing like players who know they're not going to be there next season in some cases. They're certainly not turning it out for the manager or the interim manager at the moment. They just look like a team lost. As you say there, they're 20-1 now. Drifting all the time for a top four finish. It is looking much more likely to be Spurs, who are now 1-3, the Betfred to get a top four finish behind City, Liverpool and Chelsea, and it'll probably be in that order as well.
Yeah.
Arsenal 2-1, United 20-1, and then another team that's struggling to make an impact now at this stage of the season, West Ham, they're 50-1. And Wolves are next up at 500-1. So it's looking like Spurs or Arsenal, but probably Spurs for that top four finish. United drifted to 20-1. And at the bottom of the table, well, it's all livening up there again. I didn't expect Burnley to go down at Norwich. Norwich now 1-66 for the drop. Watford 1-25. Burnley 4-11. Everton, well, they now 9-4 with Betfred to be relegated. Leeds 15-2, and Newcastle they're 25-1.
Well, there you have it. After the defeat at Norwich on Sunday, Burnley are now priced at 4-11 with Betfred to drop into the Championship next season. Well, we're going to move into some Betfred Challenge Cup quarter-final news now. Those ties took place last weekend, and there were some big results because Wigan beat Wakefield and St Helens beat Catalans, and now St Helens and Wigan will meet in the semi-finals, as will Huddersfield and Hull KR. So, Peter, some entertaining encounters coming up in the semi-final. What are they also looking like?
Well, that was a huge statement of intent by St Helens to go to France. Remember, they were beaten in France against Toulouse, who were bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Anyway, they went to France, and this time they came away with a tremendous victory against Catalans. And now they play Wigan in the semi-finals. Betfred have Saints 8-13 to win the trophy outright. Wigan 7-2. Huddersfield 11-2, and Hull KR, the outsiders, 7-1. I've asked the traders to come up with a price for a double now for St Helens because they are so strong. So St Helens to win the Betfred Challenge Cup and also the Betfred Super League, they're now 5-2. So they're as short as that to win both trophies, both of the major trophies in Rugby League.
Brilliant stuff. Well, you heard it here first. St Helens to win the Betfred Challenge Cup and the Betfred Super League. They're now priced at 5-2. And if you fancy a punt on any of the upcoming fixtures, whether it's in the Premier League, the Champions League, the Betfred Super League, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online via their app.